Yo, welcome back to channel 1. Hope you guys are all doing well. It's Oscar and we're back again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Crystal Park secondary chips. So something a little different, but something that I would like to talk about. These chips right here, they're interesting to say the least. So main reason I want to talk about it, they're different. I guess we could say different Paulsons than what I've ever really seen. They're all canceled, all have starbursts. They have printed edge spots on them, and they have like a totally different, I guess we could say, face texture compared to standard Paulson. So let's get right into it. In the last week, or probably in the last 2 weeks or something, there was quite a few of these sold on eBay. Then that transferred on to PCF, where there was just recently a 600 set. There are quite a few people on PCF that picked them up, so they kind of spread like wildfire. But like I said, the main thing I want to talk about is why they're different to standard Paulsons, and I don't know why it's just so weird to me. They're the weirdest Paulsons I've ever seen. So to begin with, I guess I want to mainly talk about the edges. So I have some Emerald Princess 5s here for comparison reasons. As you guys can see, these are standard Paulsons. The edges, you know, they look correct. The edge spots flow with each other. There's nothing funky going on with these chips, right? So just a standard Emerald Princess 5, like you guys have probably seen multiple times before. But if we take that and let's say compare it to these $2 chips from Crystal Park. These are the secondary Crystal Park $2 chips. You guys can hopefully see that they're a little different than what standard chips would look like. As you guys can see, there's like a black spot in between each of the chips. The edges, they have this white band going across each of the sides. And then, as I mentioned, they are all canceled with a starburst. So these are all canceled chips with a starburst, like you've probably seen many chips before. And it's probably going to be a little easier if I just show pictures of these chips instead of trying to hold them in the video. But like I said, the edges, they're all printed on. They have this kind of white label going across the front and the back of the chip. The edge spots, they're printed on. They don't, on a majority of the chips, they don't line up like they should. They're pretty close, but they're not exactly like actual chips should be. It's a few times I've seen that on like a standard chip, but it's very rare that the side edge spot isn't fully aligned with the front and the back of the chip. So I noticed that on a couple of the 5s. I've noticed it a little bit on the 2s. The 1s are pretty good, from what I can tell. But the interesting story is with these chips, I don't know why they're done that way. Like I said, the front face texture has this weird dimply kind of almost like plastic look to them. They don't look anything like Paulson should be. They're much lighter. If we go ahead and weigh, alright, so I'm gonna weigh 10 of these 5s real quick. So 10 of the 5s is giving me 97.43 grams, and a single chip is giving me 9.85 grams. So they're under the standard kind of 10 gram rule that actual casino chips are. The other thing is, I'm not sure if it's exactly because they're canceled with the starburst, but these chips, they wobble. They're much more slipperier than a normal chip would be, and I guess that's probably because of the texture on the faces. I don't know, they're just like, they're weird to me. The other thing is the Crystal Park, the original chips. Crystal Park closed in the early 2000s. I guess they had a casino license for maybe a month or so, maybe a couple months or to a year, something like that. I read up on it. The place had a license, then they got shut down by the LA, where the casino was. Let's see here. So the casino was in Crystal City, LA, or Crystal City, California. From what I read, it was around the LA area. It was open for a few months, probably somewhere around a year, then got shut down. And the primary chips, from what I've seen, I have a few of them here. The primary chips, they seem to all be in good shape. These don't look really that used at all. They're in pretty good shape considering that they're from the early 2000s. They were from a card room where the chips are probably getting used quite a bit. But even on the primary chips, they're much different than a standard Paulson. The faces are printed, or at least it looks like the faces are printed about, let's say, almost all the way to the edge, and then the edges are printed on. Well, not printed on. The edges look like an actual chip, but the front face where it has the texture, it just looks weird. Never understood these chips, but they're interesting to me. So the other thing is, I noticed that people, let's say if people wanted to buy these chips for their sets, they could take off the starburst cancellation mark. And it is possible, just takes a little bit of work. So it is possible, but it takes a little bit of work. This one I used a magic eraser and was able to get a majority of it off. Then I went ahead and tried using like 91% isopropyl alcohol in a Q-tip, and I got this. So it didn't take it all the way off, but definitely got a majority of it off. That one took a lot longer than the magic eraser, but it is possible to get it off. So those that, let's say if they wanted to get some of these chips for their sets and they wanted to take the cancellation mark off, it is definitely possible, and it's possible with all cancellation marks on all Paulsons and stuff like that. So like I said, I guess the pictures are going to do the main talking in this video. Like I said, the differences between these and standard Paulsons is pretty incredible, and like I said, it's something I've never seen before. The edges are printed on. The faces have this weird texture that I've never seen before. They don't exactly stack that well. They're much more slipperier than standard Paulsons, and it's different to me. I don't know how to explain it, but it's different. It's not how chips should be. From what I always think of chips are like these Royal Princess chips or TRKs, or even some of the more recent RHC chips that have been at casinos. They're much more standard than these. So I don't know. Like I said, it's hard to explain, but I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts, see if you guys have ever seen something where the edges are actually printed on, because I have never. And I don't know, just your thoughts. I know the Crystal Palace or Crystal Park, there's a bunch of diehard people that love them. Very few people on PCF actually have sets of them. I think they were sold years in early 2000s when Crystal Park closed. They were sold in quantity for cheap, and like all things back then, everything was cheap. Now everything, if you want a Crystal Park set, it's gonna be a little bit of money. But like I said, I want to talk about these chips, get your guys' thoughts. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them before. I don't know if you've ever kind of looked at them real close, but they are weird. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it made some type of sense. I kind of bounced everywhere, but it's an interesting thing I wanted to talk about. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like. If you have any comments, put those down below. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Ain't nobody like me.